Hello everyone, welcome to my first video blog for Lead Manage Win. So for those of you who are following along, you would have seen that I released a written article a few days ago on 4 key concepts that leaders need to master. So this is going to be the video blog version of that article. I know for a lot of people they prefer to listen to podcasts, audio books, or watch video blogs rather than reading through written articles, so I thought why not. I know for me personally, I much rather watch video blogs, listen to podcasts or audio books. Just helps me multitask, and I find that I absorb the information a lot better and a lot more quickly. So I thought, why not? So I really hope you enjoy the blog, get some value from it, maybe apply some of the skills that I talk about from some of my experiences. So here we go, 4 key concepts that leaders need to master. So the first key concept that I want to talk about is keeping calm through the chaos. So what I mean by that, I mean in a lot of different contexts, you know, on different scales. It doesn't have to be something completely outrageous or completely catastrophic. All I'm talking about in terms of chaos is a potentially stressful or confusing or complex situation, whether that be in the workplace or, you know, on a sporting field or whatever the case may be, just any part of life really. Anything that generates stress or friction or complexity within a group of individuals, that's what I'm talking about there. And the reason why that's the first key concept is because if you are able to remain calm within that environment, especially if in that environment other people are not remaining calm or potentially thinking irrationally, acting irrationally, they don't know what to do, they might be getting frustrated. It's really key for the leader or you in that scenario to remain calm so that you are able to think coherently, understand the situation and make a rational decision or come up with a solid plan in order to rectify that situation. Further, if you're able to put that plan together whilst everyone else is potentially not able to do that, then they are going to the rest of the team is going to look to you for that guidance, and it'll instill confidence that you know what you're doing, you know what you're talking about, and that you understand what's going on when they may not. So that's what I'm getting at with that first concept. The second concept that I want to talk about is focusing on what matters and dedicating your time to, you know, putting your time to good use. So, you know, a lot of times, you know, if you're in a middle management sort of scenario, or, you know, you just have bosses above you and below you, or whatever the case may be, you know, you would have seen or heard a lot in your workplace or whatever the situation may be, you know, of people, you know, being frustrated with, I don't understand why we're doing this, or this doesn't make sense, or why would he or she make that decision, or I don't get it, this is just stupid. So in some cases, yeah, like that may be what you think of the situation, that may be what your team thinks of the situation. But, you know, I'll bring that back to one of the first things I said about this concept, which was putting your time to good use. You know, we all lead busy lives, we've all got things to do, and, you know, whilst, you know, part of human nature, it's tempting to just go, wow, this is really bad, or whatever the case may be. A really quick way of going, okay, is this potential issue really worth my time? So firstly, you know, what are the facts? Is my initial understanding of what is going on actually accurate, or am I blowing this out of proportion? You know, is the thing that I'm complaining about or dissatisfied with actually true? Is it actually fact, or is it opinion or bias or whatever the case may be? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, does it really matter? You know, so you've asked yourself the first question, and then you've gone, yes, that is true, that thing is, you know, not to your liking or not in accordance with what you would like to see occur. So the second question is, well, does it really matter? Because sure, it might not be something that you like, but it may be completely irrelevant to your plan or your goal or whatever it is you're trying to achieve in whatever context. So, you know, if it is bad, but it is irrelevant, then you don't need to worry about it. it is a waste of your time. You've got more important things to worry about than things that are relevant to your plan. So my advice, cast it aside, get back on track, and keep moving towards your goal. So what if it is bad and it is relevant to your plan? Well, then you need to ask yourself, is there any way in which I can actually influence this? It could be bad, it could also influence your situation, but there may be nothing you can do about it. Or the only things that you can do about it are, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, or there's not sufficient return on investment in that. So it may take more effort to fix that or influence that situation than the benefit you're hoping to get out of it in the first place. So, I think you're probably following my train of thought here now. If it's too hard to change, it's too hard to fix, or it's not worth the investment of time and effort to rectify or influence it, then you need to focus on the goal or the end state, not the original plan, because whatever this situation that's cropped up may affect your plan, but you may still need to achieve your goal or your end state or the long-term thing you're trying to achieve. So what does that mean? It means you need to go back and have another look at your plan, potentially alter your plan, potentially improve it, or if it's a new problem set and it's completely changed the entire context behind what you're trying to achieve, maybe go back to the drawing board. Who knows? It's going to be different for everyone's situation. My point is here, you need to focus your time and effort and problem-solving abilities of yourself and potentially your team on things that you can actually influence and that are worth your time and that will still get you towards your goal. The next thing I want to talk about is creating certainty and being measurable in that space. So what am I getting at there is, you may be given a sort of broad piece of guidance in terms of, improve this, or make this problem go away, or at some point we need to achieve a certain goal or end state, right? Now, if you're giving that to your team, sure, you can just say, look, team, we need to improve our customer service in this retail store, or we need to provide better service in your, service business, or whatever the context may be. Yes, you can, of course you can just say blanket statements like that. However, what is much more powerful, much more useful in that scenario is creating certainty, creating targets, and creating timelines that you can hold yourself and your team accountable to, and allow you to set a path to achieve that in a time frame that is reasonable to you and potentially your boss or your coach or whatever the case may be. So what do I mean by that? Let's use the retail example, right? So you've gone from improve the customer service in the store to, let's say we need to improve our order satisfaction rate, so the number of orders, the number of items within those orders that you can satisfy on the first go, from 70% to 90% by the 1st of June in whatever year. That's how you can clearly quantify exactly what you want to achieve by an exact date. Now that date or that percentage or that target, you may be able to gather that from empirical evidence, or going back and asking your boss or your superior or your coach or whatever and say, hey, I understand what you're trying to achieve, but I'd like some closer guidance. You may get that, you may not. If you don't, use your experience, use your instincts, or whatever the case may be, but set a target, set a milestone, and set a time frame in which to achieve it. You'll be very surprised as how much more focused you can be on a task when you've actually got a tangible goal or end state and a tangible time frame to achieve it in, as opposed to aimlessly bumbling towards an improvement. The last concept I want to talk about is clear and effective communications. So it sort of, in some respects, relates to the last concept I spoke about in terms of setting those milestones or targets or whatever. It is very important, regardless of the scenario, that when you are communicating with your peers, your superiors, or your team, or whatever the case may be, that you are clear in the language that you are using, and you clearly articulate what it is you're trying to say, or you're trying to achieve, or the direction you are giving. So, as best as possible, don't give loose guidance such as improve this or do that, or whatever the case may be. Be measurable, be clear and effective in your communications. So, I would like this team to achieve this exact end state, improvement of whatever measurable statistic from percent X to percent Y by date Z. That is very clear, unambiguous, and very easy to understand. On the same line, don't unnecessarily complicate your language or your communications with fancy words that, in some cases, yes, you need to use the professional vocabulary or jargon specific to your workplace. Got it, 100%. And that's perfectly okay. But don't go off on some random tangent using big fancy words that you think make you sound really smart or really clearly articulate what you're trying to say. Just go back over it and just check your own work and make sure that, is there a better way I can describe that? Is there a more simple way that I can describe that? Quite often, the simple plan is the best plan. You don't need to have some fandangled, massive, complicated plan in order to achieve your end state. Quite often, having a simple plan will mean that your team can execute it more effectively because they understand it better. And that's what I'm talking about in terms of effective communication. You can have the best plan in the world, but if people don't understand what you're trying to achieve, you may as well not have the plan in the first place. So they're the 4 key concepts that I wanted to talk to you guys about today. I hope you've enjoyed what I've had to say, and noting the last concept I spoke about was effective communication. I hope you'll understand what I'm trying to convey there and the advice and experiences that I'm trying to draw out. So I really hope you've enjoyed the first video blog for Lead Manage Win. I plan to do a lot more of these with each of the articles that I release. I plan on doing a video blog as well, and we'll go from there. So yeah, if you like the content, please let me know. Like, share, comment, whatever the case may be. Send me a message, send me an email, whatever it is. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day. Cheers.